I'm Hayden Nestor, and I will be presenting World History in 6 minutes or less. I will be focusing on the geographical area of Egypt. Here we go. Creation happened around 6000 BC. We can find this from the genealogies in the Bible and just doing the math from Adam to Jesus as it lists all of the people. The Genesis flood happened shortly after that, well, 750 years after. Again, we get these from the genealogies from Adam to Noah. Ironically, the Egyptians built boats around 4000 BC, and the Egyptian civilization starts to commence around 2750. Wheeled carts are invented, helping with trade and construction. The potter's wheel is invented, helping with, again, transporting the things that were being traded, strengthening the pots, and helping the pots to be made more easily. The Egyptian civilization is finally unified, unifying the north and southern Egyptian civilizations. The Old Kingdom starts in Egypt around 2750, and the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid of Giza are built. We think of these being more modern, however, they were built around 2500 BC. Egypt enters a golden age of peace as there are no rival empires around to conquer them. The Middle Kingdom begins in Egypt, and the horse is domesticated up north, and they bring it down south to Egypt around 2000 BC. The Hyksos are the first to challenge Egypt. They take control for a short period, but the Egyptians drive them out, and the new kingdom begins in Egypt around 1500 BC. The Israelites are enslaved by Egypt, but Moses returns and frees them by parting the Red Sea. King Shishak took rule over Egypt around 1000 BC, and he was surprisingly more Libyan than Egyptian. The Assyrians conquered Egypt. Again, the Egyptians are conquered. They free themselves, but are conquered again by Cambyses of Persia around 500 BC, and the Egyptians are conquered by Alexander the Great in 250 BC, so they're conquered 3 times in a row in a short 750-year period. Around 30 BC, Jesus is crucified, and this is where we get into the AD period. Christianity arrives in Egypt only 100 years after the death of Christ, and Clement and Origen are the first major priests at the Christian church in Alexandria around 200 AD. Christian hermits in the Egyptian desert begin monasticism. The Byzantine emperor closes the Egyptian temples as he fears that the Egyptian religion will come back, as the Egyptian religion had multiple gods, and Christianity preaches that there is only one God. The Egyptian church rejects the Council of Chalcedon, which furthers Egypt from Roman and Constantinople rule. Persia takes back Egypt from the Byzantines. As you can remember, long ago the Persians took control over Egypt. Well, they're coming back in 600 AD, about 1,000 years later, to take back rule. The complex of St. Manasseh is restored around 700 AD. Governors are appointed to Egypt by caliphs at the helm of the Islamic power around 800. The monastery of the Burning Bush at Mount Sinai receives the relics of St. Catherine of Alexandria around 900 AD. And the Fatimid army conquers Egypt. Again, Egypt is conquered and establishes the city of Cairo. Cairo is a very famous Egyptian city today, and it was founded around 1000 AD. The Fatimid army began to revitalize Egypt. They were building walls, strengthening the army, rebuilding houses, all the sorts. The Crusaders arrived in Egypt, but the Fatimids, because they strengthened them, they pushed them back. This happened around 1200. Around 1300, the Mamluk Sultanate emerges, strengthening Egypt once again and revitalizing them again. And here we see them strengthen them around 1400 again. The Ottoman armies conquer Egypt around 1500. Again, even though they strengthen them, they are conquered again. Work begins on the Mosque of Saif, which is one of the few distinct Ottoman imperial features still around today. The fountain of Abd al-Rahman Khatkuda is constructed around 1700, and later the French expeditionary forces commanded by none other than Napoleon Bonaparte occupied Egypt in 1800. The French rule Egypt for 3 years, and try to expand into Syria, but are repulsed by Ottoman and British forces. Egypt is officially freed and founded as a country close to 1900, and close to 2000, the Islamic Revolution takes place, ushering in a new age of democracy. Thank you for watching World History in 6 minutes or less. There we go.